Hey everyone, it's Jeremy here with my cat Ator. He's just chilling out in the background and he's hanging out, and that's my cat Dido. She's meowing, so I will pet her while I do this video. I got some UFO action going up here. One of these days I'll figure out a good lighting situation for these videos. Hey Dido. She really wants to say hello to all of you. I'm doing this video to explain what a twin flame is, or at least what a twin flame is from my perspective. And hang on one second. Let me fix that light. Oh, that light's a little too crazy. Alright, we'll go with it being a little dimmer instead of having Mr. UFO distracting us. Not that I'm a lighting expert, I'm not, but I knew enough to know that that light was distracting. Okay, I got lots of kitties here, but we're going to get through this video. Alright, so this video is about what is a twin flame from my perspective. From my own experience. There's lots of different things you can read about on twin flames related to the other half of your soul, related to all that kind of stuff. And I don't have expertise or knowledge at a high level in that area, but there are a lot of people you can listen to and read who will give you all of that information. And I encourage you, if you're interested in that, to go do that. What I'm going to give you is just kind of the practical rundown of what happens and what makes this situation like the twin flame, or as some would like to call it, the catalyst that changes your life forever, basically. So a twin flame is an instant connection with someone where you feel like you have known them before or have come home by talking to them. Talking to them is easy and effortless. You're not thinking beforehand what you should say. As you get to know this other person that you meet, you can complete each other's sentences in weird little ways. You kind of know what they're going to say before they say it. And that may be just because you get to know them really well, but regardless, it's a person that you just feel this sense of knowing. The sense of, there's something different here with you than most other people I've ever talked to. And that was certainly the case for me. It was very easy to talk for hours on end, and all of a sudden, where had the time gone? So there's these phases that you go through generally with a twin flame, and I went through them as well. There's that initial recognition where you kind of are getting to know each other, and then you have this bubble phase, which is this intense phase of really getting to know them, where you talk for hours and hours, and it's intense, and you cram so much into such a short amount of time. And I believe that happens because most of the time there is an inevitable pulling apart where you stop talking, where you stop interacting. And there's reasons for this. And each person's situation is different for the reasons. There's a wide variety of reasons. Because the situation is so intense, it is hard because you start to invest emotionally to the point where you are just so charged emotionally. And in the cases that I've seen, there's always one of the two people, one of the two twin flames that pulls away and starts to break contact or respond less and less until ultimately they cease contact. And it's so hard for that would be called the runner, the one who disappears. And in my case, I was the chaser initially, and I was so invested emotionally that it affected me. My blood pressure was high, my heart rate was off the charts. All I could think about was this person and how do I get them back? And that lasted for a period of 7 months. It was one of the hardest periods of time of my life. I slowly, through study, hey kitty, that's Ator. He's saying hello. How you doing, kitty? And through research, study, talking through people, I got through that 7 months. There's this concept of a dark night of the soul. I believe those 7 months, and to some extent some of the time after that, was my own dark night of the soul. Just an intense period of suffering emotionally at the loss of this other person. So this, to me, is the twin flame catalyst situation. By that experience happening, it catapulted me to where I am now. I am single, alone in this condo here in Utah that I bought a month ago, and on the path I'm on, I believe, because of this person that came across my path in my life. They set me on a new course, and to me that blows my mind, like how one person could set me on a new course. It was definitely not the easiest thing I've ever gone through. I was married once. I was married for 14 years, actually. I no longer am married. The person that is my twin flame, that I would call that person, that catalyst, is not the person I was married to. That is someone else. I have 2 wonderful daughters with my ex-wife. And man, yeah, the whole situation that happened, the hardest part of being a twin flame is I felt so invested and so connected to this other person, and when they disappeared, my life collapsed on me, and it was just a very difficult period of time that I was not ready for emotionally, just was not prepared. Since I've been out on my own now for just over 2 years now, I'm much more prepared for the actions and decisions of other people as I've gone out and dated a lot. I've kind of seen it all. And so now there's nothing that surprises me. And therefore, in this whole process of being single and dating, I don't fear any more loss. I don't fear loss of anyone. And I'm incredibly happy to get to that place. And I believe that that twin flame that I met, that catalyst, has allowed me to become that stronger version of myself, which I was not before. So I now have this emotional strength to handle the situations thrown at me. I have this surgery that I had, this spinal fusion surgery, that's been one of the hardest things I've ever had to go through, and just constant nerve twitching and pain and fatigue. And that catalyst, that woman, twin flame, she's helped me with this. What I went through there was gave me a reference experience of how to handle tough situations. And largely that's staying detached and just allowing myself to cry and suffer when I feel shitty. And I've learned that it's okay from the twin flame experience, that it's okay to cry and feel shitty. The twin flame is your teacher, your biggest teacher. You will learn so much from this person. And that's what I'm getting at, is the twin flame is this catalyst, this teacher that comes into your life to teach you lessons that you need to learn. Lessons that you need to learn, and they're hard lessons. Lessons of detachment, lessons of unconditional love, lessons of emotional stability, lessons of finding your purpose and your path in life, lessons of petting a cat. No, I'm just kidding. That's Dido. All these important lessons come because of this situation. And so in my mind, I'm very grateful for the situation. It was hard. It was so hard. But I'm grateful for it because of who it's made me as a person at this point in my life. You might get to see my kitties wrestle a little bit. That might be fun. We've got entertainment here on Jeremy J's channel. We don't have just twin flame discussions. We've got cats wrestling and meowing. So some good variety for you. And that's what I view the twin flame as, this teacher, this person that you feel incredibly connected to. And in most of the cases that I've seen, there's this splitting apart that happens. And I don't see many instances where after that splitting apart, the two come back together. It does happen. I've seen it. But I think it's It's not as normal of a thing that happens. Most people I see are not coming back together. In fact, the person that is the twin flame runner who disappears usually is treating the chaser pretty badly. They're taking the chaser for granted. They're doing things that just aren't good to do to another human being. And so one of the things that I have learned through the twin flame situation is that I now have standards for myself and how I will allow myself to be treated. I will not allow people to take me for granted. I will not allow people to continually cancel making plans with me and call that acceptable. Now, of course, I always look at every situation. Someone could be really sick. Someone could be having a hard time, whatever it is. But if someone's just doing that over and over or taking me for granted, to me that's not acceptable. I know my good qualities, and this is something that I would teach you, fellow twin flames, in this situation, that don't allow people to take you for granted or treat you poorly. And if that's happening, have the strength, have the fortitude to walk away from that situation and cease being a chaser and just walk away. And that's really hard to do when you're invested emotionally. Now, I know some of you look at the twin flame situation as an inevitability, that you cannot run from the twin flame situation. You cannot hide from it. Whether that's true or not is irrelevant to me, to how I am proceeding. My proceeding is I have moved on with my life about 1.5 years ago. I remember sending one last message of correspondence to which I didn't receive a response, and I said, I'm going to move on with my life. And I've done that. And that's been the best decision I could have made. I've met some amazing people by doing so, and I've solidified the standard for myself of how I will allow myself to be treated. Awesome. Thumbs up. And whether or not there's an inevitability of a reconnect, to me that doesn't matter, because I have gotten to a place in my life where I am happy and content without that person in my life in any way, shape, or form. And that's, to me, the pinnacle of the lesson to learn through this situation, is to learn to get to a place where you're functioning at a high level without this other person. Now, do you forget about this twin flame person that you met? No. You don't just forget about people like that. They're in your mind. I haven't found a way to do a little Men in Black thing and go erase the memory, and so I accept the memory of it. I accept that it's there, and I don't fight it that it's there anymore. And the same is for you. Just accept that it's there. And the strongest course of action, I believe, and this is, by the way, this is for situations where you're not being treated well by your twin flame. There are some situations where you're being treated just fine, and you two have agreed that you need a break, or you're in communication and you're talking, and for those situations, a lot of these things don't apply because you're not being treated poorly, you're in communication, so good. You don't need to run away and try to live without that person. If there's good rapport and communication happening, then roll with that. But you're still going to need to apply the lessons of being detached, being free from outcomes, being a strongest version of yourself that has high standards, and all these things that are necessary, I think, if you're going to have a high-level connection like that. Because at such a high level, it's intense, and you've got to have emotional strength to hold it together if you're in communication. If, like many of the people I see, they're treating you poorly, then you've got to walk away, and you've got to disconnect from someone who does that to you, even if they are your twin flame. The alternative is to suffer and to hope that someone's going to change, and I wouldn't put my bet on that. I would put my bet on yourself changing and doing the things in your life that you want to do for yourself. That's where I would place the bet. And so this is a twin flame. It's an instant connection where you feel like you've come home with someone. You get to know them extremely well. There's just this connection that you've never felt with someone else before. It's rare. I don't know why it happened to me and not other people for whatever reason. And it'll change your life if it happens to you, because you will have all your weaknesses, flaws, and insecurities brought forth to the surface right in front of your face. And you will be forced to face them. And the reason you will be forced to face them is because oftentimes the other person will run away and you'll have to face them because you can't contact the other. They're not responding. And so therefore you have no other choice but to face your fears and insecurities and grow and evolve as a person. And that is the gift of the situation. That is the gift. And so look at this situation as a gift. If you're being treated poorly, walk away from the situation, even if you have to cry your head off for 7 months in pain. I'll do my next video on how to get over your twin flame when they're not responding or treating you well. But this video is already getting kind of long, and I've already been sitting for a good while. But this is the concept of a twin flame, and then it ends up in a breakup that's on steroids. That just takes a long time to get over, and that's the nature of the beast. I'd love to hear some of your questions in the comments. I really enjoyed doing my last video answering your comments. So if you have comments or questions, I'm going to take some of the best ones and periodically do videos that address and answer your comments. I found that to be very fun. So please, please, please let me know what you're thinking about this. And hello, Kitty. All right, this is what a twin flame is, at least from my perspective. Thank you so much for watching. I send you all the light and love I have to offer. Have a fantastic rest of your day. We'll talk to you later.